Mike Holmes, thanks for joining me. Thanks for taking the time.
Morning, Jake.
Always a very exciting time to bring a new product to the market. And today we're talking about Trunklip, as we can see here. What is it?
Well, Trunklip basically is what it says on the tin. It's a clip that we've designed to fast fix trunking to channel.
Okay, so we've got the two trunk clips sitting in a length of channel right now. So how does that work?
Well, basically, the trunking is laid across channel in the conventional way, and two clips on either side of the trunking. You would push them simultaneously. They would slide up the side of the trunking, clip over the return, and hold it fast to the channel. It's a fast fixed installation. You then apply the lid on the top, and it does fit.
Okay,
and it's as simple as that.
Brilliant. So why have we decided to, bring in a new product into the market, even a standard product, let alone an innovation such as this, isn't done on a whim. So why have we decided to run with Trunklip?
Well, I think under the Demon Cato brand, we're looking for ways that we can bring innovation to products that have probably existed for decades.
Yeah.
And so with that, not just for a whim, but obviously it needs to have benefits to that. So we're looking at things like the efficiency of installation, and looking at modern ways of making things, just anything that we can do that would make a product better, easier to fit, more widely used. All of those considerations are taken in.
Okay. So what problem, because within innovation, sometimes you're trying to, well, most of the time you are trying to solve a problem. Sometimes that could be as simple as, we just want to do this quicker. What problem are we trying to solve or aiming to solve with Trunklip?
Well, I think with this, the conventional approach would be to trunking laid across channel. Then you would need to have a spring nut within the channel itself, drill a hole through the trunking, apply a roofing bolt down through that into the spring nut, so that holds the trunking fast to the channel. That's the conventional approach. Obviously, that has a lot of when you're up in the air and you're trying to do that within sometimes tight areas, that's difficult to do. The product we've designed gets around a lot of that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to a couple of contractors about this, just trying to understand their thoughts and opinions generally. And you're quite right. I mean, both of those that I spoke to said, when you're up in the air, as you suggest, and you're often the channels above you, so you're reaching over the top with a drill, trying to get the drill through the bottom of the trunking, and then locate your bolt through the trunking into the channel nut, which you've also had to try and drag along a length of channel at 15 meters in the air, is just it's a bit frustrating, to say the least. Whereas Trunklip actually slides the length of the channel, doesn't it, as we see there?
Well, yeah, I mean, really, the benefits of this product are the fast fix installation, because you literally just take the clip. We've designed it so that it has a H in the bottom there.
Yeah.
That H is specific so that it can sit within channel and just lie by itself. It's ready to go. And then the idea is you put one on either side, the trunking's laid across it, and then with both hands you slide the clips up the side of the trunking. It snaps over the return of the trunking lip and holds it fast. And that's the key feature really for me. The other things to this are that there is no power tools.
Yep.
No additional spring nuts with little curly springs that sometimes can get in the way.
Yep.
And all of those bits really, for me, you don't have to have them now. You've just got these two clips, and it's makes the whole thing so much easier. And also they're introduced from the outside of the trunking.
Yep.
So you're not having to try and get inside and work away. As I said, in sometimes tight spaces, you're outside, and it's much easier to get at the trunking and put them on.
Okay. And I'm going to use probably incorrect terminology, so feel absolutely correct me. But the curve we've got on or the profile on each side, because the three sizes here, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. So the curve that we've got in the actual trunk clips is designed so that these work with most major brands. Is that correct?
Well, that was one of the key criteria we had to consider in the design aspects of this, because obviously it's spring steel. It needs to have functionality that will meet the major brands,
yep.
and that has been designed within it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think a question that we are going to get asked on this, if we haven't already by the time this goes out, is, okay, great, understand it, pretty straightforward. However, what about the strength and integrity of the clip itself, connecting the trunking and the trunking and the channel together? Although it's more fiddly and much more frustrating, I imagine, to drill the hole through the bottom of the trunking, locate your spring nut and bolt them together, and more time consuming. What's your answer to that regarding load testing?
Okay, well, we are performing load testing. All that data will be available on our data sheets. The results we've found have been great. So you'll be able to have all that information.
Fabulous. Okay, so where did this idea come from?
The concept came from one of our large customers.
Okay.
They've been in the market a long time, and they introduced the idea of it. We then looked at that and then developed that a little further to allow for all the things that we need to consider to make this as a broader use as possible across the main brands. And
it's not as simple as somebody either comes to us with a product idea or concept, or we conceive one in-house and then it just appears. So what process did we go through with Trunklip, going from that customer saying, hey, I've got this idea, to we're sat here now talking about it?
You take the initial concept. Your first question is, okay, that seems like a good idea. What can we do to make that better? And one of the things we added to this product, as I mentioned earlier, was the H.
Right.
That was an addition to allow for this thing to be able to sit in the channel as it does. The other considerations, obviously, it's in regards to the functionality, making sure that the product has the flexibility to meet the varying different dimensions. And they're not massive, but across the brands, you see slight dimensional differences. We needed to ensure that we could cope with those dimensional differences and equally hold the product fast to the channel.
Okay. And so with that, then we went through, I assume, here's the concept. This is now our 3D model of it. Then we go to the 3D prototyping with the in-house 3D printer, so we can, I guess that's the best point, to make tweaks that you think, although it's not going to replicate the true product.
Yeah, with 3D printing, that gives you a tangible product to look at your sizing and everything else. Obviously, it doesn't work necessarily from a functionality point of view. It's not spring steel, but it does give you an indication of what's going to reach and everything else.
Yeah.
We then took that to prototyping stage with spring steel product, just to make sure that functionality was right. And then once we got that in place, we then moved on to putting tools down to produce the product in bulk, and we've gone through all that sampling of the tools, and we're now at the point where we've got stock and ready to go.
Lovely. And we're open to this, aren't we, Mick? This whole this concept of, look, let's face it, innovation and change generally in the construction industry is relatively slow, and there are barriers to that for varying reasons. We understand that, we accept it, but we're not creating or manufacturing innovations to be obtuse or to be difficult or to cause issues. We're trying to answer problems. So if somebody in the industry at whatever level has a product concept, they can come and talk to us, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we sell M&E products. We'd like to think we know what we're selling and everything else to that. What we don't do is install them.
Yeah.
And so the added effect of that, and sometimes the difficulties that occur in that, I would say most of the time people just get on with it because this is what we've always done. But we're open to really open to listening to people and any ideas and thoughts they have that could better a product, make it more widely usable, make it faster to fit, and bring efficiency in installation. Any of those ideas.
Great. Okay. Well, I mean, if people want to, anybody listening, if you do have a product idea and you want to talk to us about that, probably better to talk to Mick, because if you talk to me, it will all be wrong. I'm assuming, Mick, they can contact you directly on LinkedIn or via email.
That's right.
Okay. If so, you're Mike Holmes on LinkedIn, and Mike.Holmes, HOLMES @metpro.co.uk. Get in touch, have a chat with Mick, and there could be, in the future we could be talking about your concept and innovation right here. So back to Trunklip though. It's available now. Sizes 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch are on the market, and we really hope that you like the new product. And by all means, leave us some feedback, good or bad. We're always open to both sides of the argument. Just before we wrap up, however, a little bit of a sneak preview. This is November now, with Trunklip being available. We do have a variation on this coming in January.
Yeah, well, we've moved it onto tray as well, and so it's a very similar clip to this, but obviously the top of the product is altered to accommodate the radius of a tray, and we're producing the clips for medium and heavy return tray.
Lovely.
For the new year.
Brilliant. Well, we'll sit down and talk about that one nearer the time, probably just after the Christmas break. But once again, we hope anybody watching likes Trunklip, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Look forward to it.